Okay friends, we're going to talk, this is technology information for those that know me by George, and for my geek friends, those that know me as PC Careman, a name I've been using for many years for technology videos on technology information. So what you see in front of you, for those that are interested, and I'll tell you the reason why I'm talking about this tonight. Okay, so this is a Linux operating system, a Linux OS, an open source platform. This particular one we're looking at tonight is called Zorn Linux. Now, for many people today, a lot of people have old laptops sitting about at home or in the office, and they're not compatible with Windows 10, and they can't get the updates, and they can't get the software for the use. So tonight we're going to give you an alternative. This is an operating system that you can browse the internet, watch videos, read your email, and the beauty about it is free and secure. In fact, I would go to say that it is even more secure than Microsoft Windows operating system. Okay, so this one is Zorin OS 1.53, which is the build number as you would get with Windows 10. Some people may be using the 2020 edition of Windows 10, which is also a build number on Windows. Now friends, you don't have to be an expert to use this, and tonight I'm going to show you what you will need. Now, if you have got a spare DVD writer disc or a spare USB drive with at least 4 gigabytes, I will show you how you create yourself a Zorn OS Linux boot up disk where you can install it on your old laptop. Okay, so if you have an old laptop sitting there with 2 gigs of memory on it, this here will be a good choice to use. So let me explain a wee bit about it first. Okay, a lot of businesses use it. Okay, it's got over 20,000 games included, and it runs on old computers and low spec PCs. That is a demo there, which is it's actually running on a tablet. Now that is the Ultimate Edition that do charge for it, but tonight we're going to talk about the Lite Edition. Okay, so the Lite Edition we're going to cover tonight. So if you've got an old laptop sitting about the house or an old desktop computer with 2 gigs of memory on it, rather than throwing it out, put it to good use. You don't have to run to the computer shop to pay large amounts of money to get this done, because if you went to a computer shop you would pay big bucks. But the beauty about it is you're going to pay nothing, because I'm going to show you how to do it. So just bear with me friends, I find a way of telling my birds to keep quiet. Quiet! Hey! Quiet! Okay, so sometimes they listen to me. Sometimes the birds listen to me and sometimes they don't. A couple of cockatiels, sometimes you've got to shout to tell them to keep quiet in the background. Okay, so as it says above here, your old computer is new again. Okay, your old computer is new again. Okay, this particular one here is Zorin OS 15.3. Friends, don't be worrying about that too much. That's just what they call the build number. That's the version that they bring out. Okay, the one that I'm looking at tonight is called the Xfce. It's a lightweight desktop environment. It runs fast on computers as old as 15 years old. Okay, here you will see a small demo, basically the same as Windows 10. The left hand corner you click and you'll see all your different programs, from video, browsers, media, settings, system, and etc. And it is free. The system requirements you will need for this here is a CPU, 700 megahertz, a single core, an Intel, an AMD processor, 64-bit or 32-bit processor. The amount of RAM that you need to run this is 512 megabytes. So if you have an old laptop sitting with 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabytes, your system will fly. It will boot up quicker than Windows and you'll have less problems with it. Now I will cover a video of actually how to use it, and I will put it up tomorrow night. But what we're going to cover tonight is how to get it, how to make a USB boot up disk, where you plug it into your laptop, you tap the F9 key on your keyboard or the F10 key, you bring up your boot menu and you boot from your USB stick. Okay, so the display for this is 640 by 480 resolution. So you don't need a big massive expensive graphics card, should I say, to run this. Now there is a few editions, friends. There is a core edition, there is the education edition, but tonight we're covering the Lite, L-I-T-E. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the downloads and we're going to go back to the Lite edition. Now here you have another diagram of different backgrounds and stuff like that there. Just ignore that for the minute. So we're going to download the free edition, which I've already started, and the ISO will be coming down. So the first thing you want to do is go to download, skip to download. Now you'll be offered two versions here, friends, two versions. You'll be offered the 64-bit version or the 32. Older computers with less than 2 gigs of RAM may be only compatible with a 32-bit, which is this one. Okay, so if you've got less than 2 gigs of RAM in your laptop, go for the 32-bit. If you've got 4 gigs of RAM or 3 gigs of RAM, go for the 64. Okay, so it does take a bit of time to come down depending on your connection speed. So I'm downloading a 64-bit at the minute, but I go to a 32-bit to show you how to get it. Click download. Okay, it'll thank you for downloading, and it'll bring you to sourceforge.net. Okay, and your download will automatically start and go into your downloads. Okay, so at the minute I'm downloading the 64-bit. Okay, now I'm going to cancel the 32-bit because I don't need it. Obviously show you exactly how to download it. Now what you can do with Zorn Linux is you can do exactly with Windows. Now Zorn Linux comes with a package manager installed when you install it on your system. From browsers, to chat programs, to video programs, to office programs, to games, to Photoshops and stuff like that there. And all you do is click install, which I'll show you tomorrow night. And friends, it is free, safe and secure. Okay, so for the past 11 years, Zorin OS has been given a new and better computing experience, okay, around the world, okay. Manage all of your computers as easy as one. So this would be for schools or businesses, okay. Now, governments, a lot of governments, including military, use Linux computers. And they use Linux for a number of reasons. Security would be one, okay. You can't get a Windows virus on a Linux distro, okay? It's an open source code on an open source platform. It boots quicker and it uses less memory. You don't need to defragment it the way you would have to do with a Windows operating system, where a lot of people probably don't even know how to defragment a computer, which basically tidies up your hard drive and your file system to run a lot better. A lot of people don't know how to do it. If you go to YouTube and type in PC Curamon, there is videos that I have done over the years on how to defragment your operating system. Now Zorn also will allow you to install and remove apps, set software updates and security policies, which basically you'll get a pop-up on your screen, or you can set it automatically as you would do in Windows 10 to update automatically, and they update all your programs discreetly. And they also enforce security policies, keep track of software and hardware, set your desktop in settings, and this is just some documentation to make it simple for you. Now, I have used Linux distros many different types. This one I recommend to anybody that's never used Linux before. You can still go to YouTube, you can go to Facebook, you can read your email, you can do video conferences through Zoom, you can use Skype on Linux, and it is compatible with old systems. Your computer runs faster, and you have a peace of mind, and also their PCs are resistant to viruses. Old computers work like new. Friends, it does what it says, it works. Now, depending on your internet speed, it will take a wee bit of time to come down. So download your ISO image, save it to your downloads folder, or save it to your desktop. And if you've got a Windows computer, you can download the Linux ISO. They also have what they call a community. If you've got a problem and you're using it for the first time, you write in, and the guys or girls, people that's using it, will tell you how to sort the problem out. Okay, so I'm downloading the ISO, okay. The next thing I need is a program. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so this is a program that you need, or you can use if you're making up a USB boot up disk, okay? You can get this free on the internet. It's RUF US 3.141788. If you type in RUF US, you can download the program free, and this will create the USB stick for you. Now obviously you have to wait until the download comes down. You'll notice that I have a USB stick plugged in here. It'll automatically pick it up. Once the ISO comes down, I will click select and select the image, and hopefully while I'm talking here I'll show you a wee bit more around it. Until it comes down, I'll show you how to create a USB boot up disk. Now if you have a USB and there's something on it, okay, at the minute, so this is the USB stick here that I've plugged in. It's a 4 gigabyte one. What I'll do is I'll right click on it, I'll go to format, and I'll set it to FAT32 file system. Windows 10 would be the NTFS file system. So I set it to FAT32 by default, and I'll do a quick format. I click start, and I format the USB stick first. Okay, so let me close it. As you can see there, the USB stick is now formatted. If I pull it across, there's nothing on it. Okay, so I'm just going to wait on the download coming down. Which is roughly about 10 seconds left on it. Now you can buy a Linux computer if you prefer it. But if you've got an old laptop, friends, why not use your laptop? Now there's a storybook of the Zorin, a 13.3 inch high definition, anti-reflect display, Intel Core i3, i7 CPU, up to 64 gigs of RAM, and up to 1920 gigabyte of solid state hard drive. Okay, personally I'll not be buying it because I'm going to put it on an old laptop. So they do have some options out there for people that do like Linux and would prefer to buy it as with all the hardware on it, but you don't really need that, to be honest with you. Now they do have the ultimate version here and the education and core version. I'm not going to cover that tonight. Okay, I'm covering the light version. So what they're saying is you can basically streamline to run a snappy old computer. So an old laptop has got low specs on it that doesn't have a high-end graphics card basically. Okay. And it runs fast on old computers as 15 years old. So why throw your old computer out when you can actually put a free operating system on it, which will be more secure than a Windows computer. We know when you're using Windows, Microsoft, some people install third-party antivirus programs. That costs a few dollars to buy. Some people get them free. Some people are happy using the Windows 10 one. Then some people start to install third-party apps for to speed up their system, which you can do manually on a Windows 10 if you know what you're doing. I have covered videos in the past of that there. It is designed for schools too. And you can put it on as many computers as you like. Now, there is a few different ones. There's the Ultimate, the Core, the Lite and the Education. And I do believe that they charge a certain amount for the Ultimate. And that's to give them support. You don't have to. You can use the Lite version. That's the Ultimate one. And you can send them a message and stuff like that there. Okay, so there also is instructions on their site on how to install it. Although I will do a video and show you how to do it. Okay, so installing Linux, a simple step-by-step guide while I'm waiting on that coming down. It'll tell you exactly what you need. A computer compatible running Zorin OS. Okay. A USB flash drive enough compatible with your Zorin OS copy. The Ultimate and the Education Edition needs at least an 8 gigabyte USB stick. The Core Lite one that I'm using only needs a 4 gigabyte USB stick. And the Lite 512 megabytes of RAM. Every old computer should have 512 megabytes, if not more. You also can use an external hard drive or cloud storage for backup. It's optional. And that's for your downloading it. Okay. Now, Zorn OS Linux uses the latest version of Firefox or Google Chrome browser. You can back up your data and you can create what they call a clean install. When you're installing Linux, it gives you the option of deleting everything on your hard drive. So basically, if you've got Windows 7 on your old computer or Windows Vista and it's no longer compatible with Windows 10 and it's not running right, well then when you're installing it, going through the process, it'll let you erase the hard drive. You just click the button, it'll format the hard drive for you when it's going through the installation process. You can download that program to create a USB stick, but the one I have is a lot easier. It'll tell you insert USB flash drive into your computer. If you're using this program, that's exactly what you do there. And that basically creates a USB stick for you. But the one that I'm going to show you is a lot easier. Now, to boot from the installed drive, so basically say you've already created the USB stick, a boot up disk. In order for you to install Linux, you must boot your computer from your USB install drive. Obviously, you want to make sure it's plugged into your USB port on your laptop or desktop computer. Obviously, switch your computer on. Some computers you may have to press the escape key, the delete key, or the F12 key on your keyboard to bring up your boot menu to select your USB stick to boot from. Now, on a Mac, if you're putting it on a Mac, you have an old Mac, you use the option key. When it first boots up, you'll be given something like this here on your screen. Try, install Zorin OS, clean installation, and etc. So obviously you would hit that key. Okay, so if you do have the NVIDIA graphics drives in your old laptop, well then 9 out of 10 it'll pick it up automatically for you, but there's another option, okay? So, as I say, I will do a video on how to use it and I will put it up for you. So, when you're going through the process, okay, I'm just waiting on this, finishing this download here so I can show you how to create the USB stick. And it's near enough down. It depends how busy their servers are and how good your internet connection is. So a lot of people may say, why should I use it? Well, if you've no laptop lying in the house and it's not compatible for Windows 10, then basically it's useless. So by using this, you're turning it into a useful device. Basically, that's what you're doing. And the beauty about it is, if you use the light version, the reason I use the light version is because there's very little bloatware with it, basically known as crapware. Example, maybe if you install the full version, you may get programs that you may never use, and I would call that bloatware or crapware. So for anybody that's just watching, we're talking about turning an old laptop device or a desktop computer into a device that you can use free, okay? If you've got 512 megabytes of memory free in it, well then you're good to go. Okay, so we will show you how to create a USB boot up drive. Very simple. Okay, so it's actually downloaded. Okay, so bear with me a second, I'll come back to this. Right. So what you see in front of you is that what you need the Zorn Linux OS. If you watch the video, you'll see where to go and get it. You also can use RUFUS, type it into your big browser, download it free and have it already downloaded. As you can see, obviously plug in your USB stick and it'll automatically recognize it. Okay, so it's recognizing this as an 8 gig, but it's actually 4 gigs. Okay, this is the one that I'm going to use. The next thing I will do is I will select. Now, I've already downloaded the SO 64-bit, there's it there, double click, and it is, you can see there it has picked it up. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click Start, It's going to rate the image mode recommended, and it's going to bring up another box which is basically going to tell me it's going to format the USB stick, and it's going to create the boot up disk. I click yes. Okay, so what it's doing now, as you can see, it's going through the process of creating a Zorn Linux USB boot up disk, where I basically plug it into another device, laptop or desktop computer, and I can install it. Now, if you're thinking of installing this with Windows 10 side by side, you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it because it can cause problems with the boot sector, and it can damage your Windows 10 system and cause it to crash. Okay. Now, by doing a lot of research over the years, friends, on Linux distros, a lot of government multi-computers are now using Linux, this type of Linux. Okay. There's a number of good reasons. Is it's more secure than Microsoft operating system. That's my personal opinion, and it's also opinions of PC World that has been out on a magazine which done a write-up a while back. You can do your research on it. It doesn't need defragmented. And another example is if I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive and I put Windows 10 on it, it's only going to show 1.90 something. Okay? But when I put Linux on it, it shows a 2 terabyte. I don't need it defragmented because of the source code. And because of the community that designed this particular one here, the developers are watching all the time, and if they spot a vulnerability, because it's open source platform, open source code, they fix the problem straight away. When Microsoft Windows 10 has a leak or has been hacked, it takes them a while to get the patch out to fix that problem. You could be waiting weeks or months on it, which basically your device is vulnerable. With Linux, the guys fix it within less than 24 hours. So it's creating a USB stick here. It's copying the ISO files. It does take a wee bit of time, there again depending on the processor of your operating system, because that's the brains of your computer. That's the CPU that's processing the information. So obviously if you've got a big strong processor, it's going to be quicker. We're actually doing this on a gaming computer, which is 15 gigs of memory, and it's got a gaming processor in it. So obviously it's going to be a wee bit quicker. And it's 1.9 gigabytes. Okay, so it's roughly going to be using near enough 2 gigabytes. Okay. If you don't want to burn it to a USB stick, and you don't have any, and you have bought yourselves DVD recordables or rewriters, you can obviously burn it to the disk. Put the disk in your laptop if it's got a CD-ROM. If not, you can buy an external USB one, or you can put it in and boot it up from the disk, and it'll give the option to install. When you're going through the installation process, basically it's a simple procedure, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so that's creating a USB stick. So let me go back to the other screen where that's creating it. Once that creates it, it'll say finish. I click finish, and then I take out the USB stick. I've now got an operating system on a USB stick that I can put on another laptop, an old laptop that isn't compatible for Windows 10. I've got myself a top of range computer that I can use on social media. Okay, so, and the beauty about it is it's free, this particular one. Okay, so imagine you've already created your boot up disk, okay, and you've downloaded the ISO and you've done everything that I've showed you. When you boot up, you will see this. You can click try before you install it on your system to see what it looks like, okay. If you're happy enough, you want to install it, you want to wipe your hard drive, click install. Make sure you're connected to the internet, because you can also tick a few boxes to update it when it's installing to save you time. It normally should take roughly about 20 minutes to install this operating system, and another 10 minutes to update it to be secure. Okay, so connect the internet if possible. If you want to keep your current operating system installed alongside Zorin OS, select Install Zorin OS alongside it. Friends, I wouldn't recommend it because it can cause problems with the boot sector. If you want the Zorn OS Linux to format your hard disk, which is basically erase it, tick the box and click install now and continue to follow the on-screen instructions to complete the process. Okay, so it'll ask you what do you want to call it. There again, as a security tip, you don't want to be calling it Mego's computer because it broadcasts over the internet and you don't want your computer browsing to the internet. Oh, it's Jordy's computer here, Jordy's. So I call mine user or P26, okay, because computers broadcast over the internet, okay. Right, I want to go back and see if it's 98% complete. Okay, just don't click cancel. Just let it sit there because eventually it will go to 100%. And that will be the operating system on the USB boot up disk. So you need REFUS, Rufus I think it is, 3.14. If you type it into your big browser, you can download that program free to create yourselves a USB stick. Okay. Now if you're using Windows 10, you can actually use this in Windows 10 to create a Linux USB stick. So when it's done, click close. That's it, create it. That's how simple it is. Now there was a small video here that I could have sworn I seen. Let me see now. I'd want to give you more depth of it, okay, so just bear with me a second. So this is the one that I have covered tonight, the light version. Friends, there's nothing that you can't do in this Linux operating system that you can do in Windows. Believe me, I have covered many different types. You can even have an app called, oh flip me, what do you call it? Let's see, Steam. Steam is an app you use for gaming, if you're into gaming, okay? And they do have loads of different types of games in it. And it does exactly what it says, turn your old computer into a new computer. And it does obviously use Wi-Fi. Alright, there is a video here, let's see if I can play it for you. Okay, so bear with me and I'll get you a better screenshot of that. To give you an idea what it is, for those that's only watching. Now, I use Linux for a number of reasons. I use it because it was good enough for the governments to use, but then obviously they're not using it for nothing. It's good enough for me. Okay, so this will give you an idea what it is. It's a free operating system. So don't get confused because it's an open source platform. Okay, so let's basically give you an idea what it does. Okay, as I say, it comes with Firefox installed. You can go to a software manager and you can install Google Chrome. You can also install CMonkey browser, Brave browser, and a number of others. If you're worried about video players, they do come with the codecs already built into the OS. You also can install Video LAN Player, VLC. You can also install other media players by just going to the highlight them, click the button, install, and they'll automatically install. And all you basically do would be go to the bottom of your screen as you would in Windows 10, click it, and it will say accessories, programs, internet, media, photo, record, and etc. Friends, Linux OS, this is one of many Linux distros, operating systems. In my opinion, it runs better than Windows 10. And in my opinion, it's more secure. Now, when you get the hang of it and you want to really get into Linux and get into it in depth, there is some Linuxes are built with certain tools on them that can be used for different reasons, okay? Governments use Linux, NSA use Linux, they use it for a reason, because it's more secure and more reliable, and it's also saves some money. Okay, so if there's nothing, you can broadcast with Linux too, friends. You've got OBS and you've got many other tools that you can use to broadcast with Linux. If you've got YouTube, you can still go live by using Linux distro, okay? As I say, there is a few different types of this particular one. The light one is the one that I've covered tonight. You do have the core. Obviously, the core is a standard edition for most computers. This would be for computers that aren't really old. It's also free. And it does have Windows touches, desktops, layouts. It also comes with LibreOffice. It works the same as Microsoft Office, only LibreOffice is free, and it does have PowerPoint in it, numbers and etc. in it. And it does exactly, friends, what you see. What you will see is when you've installed it is what you see here. You can right click on them and you can change the desktop backgrounds. You can go to multimedia. Your settings would basically be for clicking Update Manager. You'll get a pop-up here at the bottom of your screen, and you just basically double click it and click Install, or you can set it to do it automatically. Comes with Firefox browser. You click here and you can turn it off, shut it down, reboot. And it comes also with a task manager and etc. When you go to the software manager, you'll see categories from media to internet browsing to chat programs and many others. You just click it and you scroll down. If there's a program there you're not sure of, if you click it, it'll give you documentation what the program is and what it does underneath it. You also can use desktop recorders on it. And the beauty of it is free, costs you nothing. And what will happen is, this particular one that you're using at the minute, the 15.3 build, whenever they bring out another version, you will get the option of clicking the button upgrade, and the upgrade's free. Sometimes they will not. This one here could be out for another 3 or 4 years. They will update it all the time, so you don't have to upgrade just for the sake of upgrading if you're happy using it. Friends, free operating system. Zorn OS is the name of the operating system, and the build is 15.3. Light means it's a lighter version, less crapware, less bloatware, and it works. Okay, so thank you for those that are listening in. For anybody that's interested in trying something different, maybe someone's not happy using Windows 10, maybe it's not doing what they want to do, they've an old computer land and they don't have the money to go to the computer shop and pay £60, £70 to get it formatted. because they don't know how to do it. What I've shown you tonight will save you money and will make you secure. And if someone tries to send you a Windows virus, they're wasting their time, because it's an open source platform. It'll do nothing. There is programs that you can use with Linux for to run certain Windows programs. I will cover them at a later date. One of them is called Wine, W-A-N-E. Another one's called Play on Linux. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I don't see why someone would want to install a Windows software on a Linux desktop when Linux supply everything in their software manager all in one place. Okay? If you do decide to run it, you run into problems, and you happen to be lucky and have me in your friends list on social media, you can reach out to me. Okay? If not, you can go to YouTube, where I will put this video up, and you can make a comment there, or you can go to this place here. You will see videos that I've covered over the years. Okay. Right. Okay, friends, you can go there and you can leave your comment there, and that's my website. So I'll just leave that up for you for a minute. Okay, friends, so that's my website up there, pccaremonwebs.com. Okay, so there is a few plugins I've turned off at the minute. So it's www.pccaremon.webs.com. So if you've got a problem, click the word contact, put in your name, your email, and leave a message, and I'll be quite happy to get back to you. Okay. Also, if you go to the videos on the website, these are old videos that I covered over the years. Give you an idea of something there you might want to know about. If you're interested in network analyzing, well then watch this one, Wireshark. These are all my own. Okay. That's another Linux desktop, Linux Mint. So there's a few videos there to give you an idea of some of the stuff that I covered. So I would say some people might get a wee surprise. Okay, how to make a secure password and etc. If you need help, you can go there, or you can go to YouTube under PC Caremon and leave me word if you're not on my social media. Okay, Linux OS, free operating system, how to create a USB stick, how to install it, and how to bring an old laptop to a new laptop just by watching the video, and the price of a USB stick, or if you've got one at home, format it, at least 4 gigs for the Linux Lite. If you're going for the other versions, you'll need a bigger USB stick, about 8 gigabytes. Okay, thank you very much, and keep safe.